What's up, everybody? This is Chris Surratt bringing you another edition of the Car Concierge Show Weekend Review. On today's show, it's going to be a fairly quick show. It's the football kickoff weekend, so we want to get into some football, of course. But first, we're going to bring you a couple stories. First, a story about a controversial issue that's been happening with Vinnie Johnson and his Piston Group. Dealing with a DEI situation over in Michigan. We're also going to talk about the catastrophic situation that happened to the Notre Dame football team this weekend against North Illinois University and talk about their payout situation. It's kind of a weird thing for me. And last but not least, we're going to talk about Trump's speech this past week and how he is in talks to put Elon Musk in a position in the government dealing with businesses and, of course, federal government oversight, pretty much. So let's jump in. First off, we're going to talk about Vinnie Johnson, the microwave, as it were, one of the great Detroit Piston NBA basketball players. He runs a group called the Piston Group, a company called the Piston Group, and it has been under attack by a DEI company, the Minority Supplier Development Council. It's a DEI company that oversees that minorities are being represented in large companies. So this is an editorial. We did do a story about this a couple weeks ago, talking about how Vinnie had won in court against his company, and they did an editorial piece talking about how bad this was and all of the controversy that's coming from it. And it's just an interesting story. So we're going to go over this real quickly and we're going to talk about it. All right. So, editorial piece. Michigan Diversity Council must clean house after maliciously targeted Piston Group. There is no excuse for such a scandal to be exposed and then ignored. There is some measure of justice in Piston Group winning a permanent injunction against the Michigan Minority Supplier Development Council, which has tried for 3 years to strip the auto supplier of its certification as a minority business enterprise. But there needs to be more. The case had seemed obvious from the start, since Piston Group is owned by Vinnie Johnson, who is black. Johnson's previous career was playing basketball for the Detroit Pistons, winning 2 NBA championships with the Bad Boys. Over the course of a couple of decades, he built Piston Group into a $3 billion company with 12,000 employees, about half of whom are minorities. Most of his direct reports were white men, often brought on when he bought the companies they owned or managed. Man, corporate raider. Based on the leadership group's composition, the council said the company wasn't minority run. Dismissing that flimsy argument was important, but there's more to the case. The judge found that the council tried to shake down Piston Group, and when that failed, it tried to destroy and steal the company. Wayne County Circuit Judge Annette Berry found that the council CEO Michelle Robinson solicited Piston Group for a $300,000 donation. When Johnson declined, she went after his company. While the council was fighting to strip Piston Group of its minority certification, Robinson's husband joined a blank check company looking to invest in the future of mobility, to wit, a bargain basement takeover of Johnson's company. Plaintiffs have successfully established that Robinson's goal was to diminish the value of Johnson's company by decertifying them, Berry wrote. The judge called the scheme chilling, but perhaps more disturbing is the council's unwillingness to grasp the ruling. The council remains defiant and defensive when it ought to be looking into its oversight of Robinson's operations. It's unknown if the U.S. Attorney's Office is investigating the matter for possible racketeering. Such cases are hard to prosecute. In the absence of a criminal prosecution, the automakers that count on the council and its national umbrella group to help it identify appropriate business partners in pursuit of diversity goals should demand that it clean house. There's no excuse for such a scandal to be exposed and then ignored. All right. So let's talk about this really quickly. And what we're talking about is minority on minority crime, and it is horrible in a couple of different ways. We're talking about a young lady, Michelle Robinson, who was going after and trying to destroy a black company and trying to destroy it by saying that it's not a black company, a minority company. Her whole goal was to make this company seem lesser than by saying that it had too many white people working for it. Now that sounds weird, but it's more, it's worse than that. It's worse than that. She tried to use her husband to try and come in and take over the company. She tried to shake him down for $300K. And she's a black woman. Michelle Robinson is a black woman. We went over this in our last check into this situation. And she's a black woman going after another black man, another black person, because they have too many white people work for him. And not only that, Vinnie Johnson went as far to hire a black man that worked for the council, just to prove that he was hiring people of color into his company. And it even said that a majority of the people that work for the company are minorities. So there's nowhere in here that we can see that this minority council had any inclination or right to attack Vinnie Johnson and the Piston Group. And it's sad. It's sad that a company that was designed to help minorities and minority groups stay in positions of power or in positions where they're still working, with everybody. Is pretty much what it is they're trying to make sure that minority groups get it as much of a chance as anybody else. And this particular minority council or DEI council was trying to destroy a minority company, was trying to shake them down, was trying to take them over. This is bad on all counts. And what this editorial is saying is that these people ain't even seeing what the bad they've done. They're still defiant. They're still fighting against it. They're still trying to take this company down. Still trying to say that it's not a minority-run group. And it's sad. It's sad. It's black on black crime at its finest. It's really the government creating a platform for minorities to help minorities, and then those minorities trying to destroy minorities. It's a horrible circle. A horrible circle. And it has to be addressed. And that's what this editorial is trying to say. We're gonna do a little bit more diving into Michelle Robinson and a little bit more diving into this Michigan Minority Supplier Development Council, because these councils are they're DEI hire jobs that are not beneficial. If this, and we're saying this particular one is not beneficial because it is harmful, it is destructive, it is detrimental in so many ways. So we really have to look into these DEI hires and these councils that have been created, these jobs that have been created for people to look over and foresee what people are doing in the workplace, so that everybody gets an opportunity, because we're finding that they're doing more harm than good. All right, let's keep going. So exciting football weekend. We had a fantastic college kickoff during the week, and of course, amazing college games yesterday. We saw that Nebraska was giving Deion Sanders in Colorado a hard time. All kinds of great college football games yesterday. But my feed was blown up by, of course, because I'm from Indiana, from northern Indiana, South being as it were. Don't care if you know. And so my feed was blown up by all of the things that are happening with Notre Dame and their loss to Northern Illinois University. Wow. And, it really, the game itself, Notre Dame is flustered over the years. We've seen them lose to teams like NIU over the course of the last couple of years. Not a big thing, you know. First game, not in first game, but you know, first opportunity of a season to show some stuff. And why we are bringing this to you guys today is not as much about Notre Dame losing the game. It's about Notre Dame paying out for these teams to play them. So, first off, we're going to check out the coach, and his name is Thomas Hammock, the coach at NIU, and see how he feels about the game. And, you know, emotional game. You win a game like this against a team like Notre Dame, and it could set you up for life. So I know he is going to be extremely happy.
How to handle the ups and downs of this ball game. Let's throw it down to Zora with Coach Hammock.
Coach, I can sense that you need a moment. Top 5 opponent. This is NIU's first win against a top 10 opponent ever. And for people who need context, you wore this jersey. It's deep for you. Why?
You know, I'm so proud of our kids, the coaches, just everybody. They believed. They believed. And we came here and got it done.
You told your guys this week that you didn't need anyone to be a superhero or superhuman. They just needed to be their best. What kind of performances did you see out there?
They listened to what I said. I told them all week, we don't need luck. We just got to be our best. And they was their best today, and we was able to get it done.
Where's this emotion coming from for you?
You know, all these guys that been with our program, been through the ups and downs, and they continue to fight. You know, it's like they my kids. I'm happy for the adversity to push through. You know, no matter the situation, I just couldn't be more proud. I'm sorry.
No need to be sorry. Boneyard wins is what you call it when you all beat a top 5 opponent, a power 5 opponent. There was 70,000 people in here that probably didn't believe. Why did you all believe?
We got a veteran team, a bunch of guys that have been through a lot of different things, and they work together. Like, we still are in college football. I know it's a whole bunch of other things with the transfer portal and NIL. We still have a family, and they believe in that family and doing things the right way. And I couldn't be more proud of them.
Congrats, Coach. Go celebrate.
Thank you. Hey.
Shout out to that, brother. That's awesome sauce. You know, I hate that Notre Dame lost the game and whatnot. You know, I hate for all my family and friends back at home and my uncles and everybody who loved Notre Dame, who were super sad about this. Cause I'm not sad. I went to IU. But you know, my thing is that, do y'all realize that Notre Dame paid NIU $1.4 million to play this game? $1.4 million to pay to NIU to lose. And my thought process was, because when I read this story and I was checking this out and it was being explained how Notre Dame these teams like Notre Dame and Alabama, they play these teams like NIU, and they play them under the assumption that they're going to smash them. They're going to beat them by 50 points, 40 points. And that's why they pay him the $1.4 million in this case that Notre Dame paid NIU to play him. So it's really compensation for getting your ass kicked. So what happens if you win? Now, you would think that if they win, maybe Notre Dame wouldn't have to pay them the same $1.4 million, because the $1.4 million literally is because we have decided in our minds that y'all gonna lose this game and y'all gonna lose big. You are being paid to be a scapegoat. You are being paid to come in here, take this ass whooping, and go home happy because you made $1.4 million. But these cats, They made $1.4 million and won the game. That throws a quandary out to me. If we pay you $1.4 million, shouldn't you throw the game? I mean, you're literally getting paid this money because there is an overall assumption that you're going to lose. So shouldn't you lose? Shouldn't you be like, because they won by a field goal, so wouldn't you slide to the homie and be like, hey man, we get paid $1.4 million. Maybe we should put the laces out, slide it to the right a little bit. But nah, they ain't got to do that. They don't have to do that because that's not part of the stipulation. Only stipulation is you come in here, you take this ass whooping, and you get this $1.4 million. If you come in here and you win, you still get $1.4 million. It's cool. So, shout out to his brother. Emotional. I'm real happy for him. Sad for all my family members back in South Bend. Sad. Gerald and them. Sorry, bro. It wasn't dark. Sorry, bro. Hey, it's still early in the season. It's only one loss. Maybe they'll come back, get into the playoffs, 12 spots up in there. So, they got a chance. Whatever. All right, let's move on. So, last but not least, this past week, Donald Trump decided that he was going to have a speech and he was going to talk about his economic plan. And part of his economic plan is to bring in the man Elon Musk. So, of course, that brings us into the automotive realm, and, we're going to look at it. Now, let's check out the video, see what they're talking about, and then we're going to talk long and hard about the implications of Elon Musk becoming a part of the government.
Tonight, just days from his critical face-off with Vice President Harris, former President Trump zeroing in on a top issue for voters, the economy.
We delivered an economic miracle, which Kamala and Joe turned into an economic disaster.
Among Trump's plans, increasing tariffs on imports and eliminating taxes on Social Security benefits and tips. Harris recently adopted his no tax on tips proposal.
She is actually copying a lot of my plan. In fact, we're going to send her a MAGA cap sometime in the next week.
Trump revealing he's taken a suggestion from a supporter and tech billionaire Elon Musk to create a government efficiency commission, which would audit the entire federal government to cut waste.
And Elon, because he's not very busy, has agreed to head that task force.
Trump signed an executive order in 2020 that would have allowed for his administration to fire a segment of the federal civil workforce and hire his political appointees in their place. Today, Musk writing, "I look forward to serving America if the opportunity arises." But that could raise conflicts of interest, since he owns companies regulated by the government. Meanwhile, the Harris campaign also focusing on the economy in this new ad.
While corporations are gouging families, Trump is focused on giving them tax cuts. But Kamala Harris is focused on you.
Building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency.
Also, former Republican Congresswoman and member of the January 6th Select Committee, Liz Cheney, who once labeled Harris a radical liberal, says she'll now vote for her, warning that Trump poses a danger. Lester?
All right, so a couple things. I'm gonna get y'all out of here. Now, it's a bold move, Cotton, for Trump to bring in Elon Musk, and really, truly, I don't see it as the greatest move because, you want to, at all costs, to avoid monopolies to any degree. And really, Elon, of course, with Tesla, he does a lot of business out of the country. And it's going to be a fight with Trump when it comes to those tariffs, I think. I think that Elon Musk ultimately is going to have a problem with the tariff situation that Trump is going to initiate. Elon is highly dependent on products from China for Tesla and for other things. So that's going to be a problem in that administration, I would think. But I don't think that Elon being put in a position like that would be good for the American automotive industry. I don't foresee him trying to put a stop to, China and other companies bringing in automotive parts and, automotive vehicles, specifically EV vehicles. I think that he would use that opportunity to probably partner with Chinese automakers to bring them over, which if he did, it could be a good move, I would think, because my big thing is that, if we are going to continue to have these Chinese and German automakers vehicles on our roads, then we should force them to some degree to put money into our automotive industry, as in building BYD factories here and Volvo factories here, where there are people here in the States that are benefiting from the manufacture of these vehicles and not just the selling of the vehicles. I think that it would be a good move to, of course, bring dealerships like a BYD dealership, a Lucid dealership. These EV vehicles are taking up so much of the market share and they're in the United States as a whole has already tried its best to move the world forward to an EV situation that is going to be very important, that if we're going to continue to advance into the EV vehicles and we're going to start to want to use the best EV vehicles, we're going to start to want to bring over some of these EV automakers from other places, China, wherever. So, and I really am adamant that if we're going to do that, then we should force them to have factories over here building parts or whatever it is to make sure that we as a country are benefiting financially from these EV vehicles. That is what is important for me, and that's what I think is the most important thing. It's we're not going to be able to stop with NAFTA and situations like that, building factories over in Mexico. With that, we're not going to be able to really stop China, specifically China, EV vehicles that come over here. We're not going to be able to stop them. It's going to happen. We're going to put 100% tariffs on them. It's not going to slow anybody down because those tariffs are going to be paid by the people who are buying the vehicles, so they're not going to really care. And with the move to put Elon Musk in this type of position, it could be good, it could be bad. It could be good where he could start to force the federal government to get rid of positions that are not beneficial and just are a waste of money. He could force companies like Chinese companies like BYD and all the kind of companies to put more into our government, to bring factories and suppliers over to America to boost our economy. But it could be a detriment because Elon Musk is governed to some degree by the government itself. So if you put him in a position that he is overseeing the government, he could do things that are going to benefit him personally. And that it is, it's a conflict of interest, as it were. So as long as you could weed that out, and as long as he is dead set on benefiting the American people, it could be a good thing. All right, my friends, I'm going to get into some football. Football is time, all right? So let's get on up out of here. It was a pleasure, as always. I'm your boy, Chris Surratt. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe to the show. Hit me in the DM if there's anything more I could do, any more stories you'd like us to check out. We're going to branch out, do a couple more days out of the week. We're going to do it earlier on Sunday so we ain't missing a lot of football because, we love football. Probably do a little bit of sports, as it were. The weekend review show, we always try to throw in some UFC, so we'll start throwing in some football as well. And we're just going to broaden the spectrum, spend out more information, and get more stuff out to you guys. All right. Chris Surratt, Car Concierge Show. I'm out. Peace.